Welcome to this BC Strategies React video. Today I'm joined by BC Strategies experts Blair Pleasant and David Maldow, who's also handling all of the video wizardry. So thank you, David. And my name's Kevin Kieller. If you're not familiar with BC Strategies, well, you can see the site up there, bcstrategies.com, and in our virtual boardroom. Definitely check that out. BC Strategies is a elite group of independent analysts, consultants, and thought leaders who have a tremendous amount of experience in the unified communications, collaboration, contact center / customer experience space, and all those adjunct technologies like artificial intelligence. So we have no lack of opinions on things and are often provide a tremendous amount of content. I think collectively delivered 19 plus sessions at the recent Enterprise Connect conference. But today what we wanted to do was to react to one of the keynotes, specifically the Cisco keynote. So David, why don't you roll the first clip?
Okay, here we go.
I'm very pleased to introduce our keynoter from Cisco, Snorre Kjesbu.
Good morning and welcome, everyone.
All right.
And so with that, we were off. I guess let's roll the next clip and see how Snorre started his, the focus for his keynote.
The next normal is here. The last year have been full of next normals, and there's always going to be a next normal. So how do you ensure that you're building resiliently for what's next? Cisco is building a platform and a solution to solve for that.
So Blair, I guess, there's been the new normal, and I guess now Cisco starting with the next normal. I mean, what was your initial feeling, in terms of how he kicked that keynote off?
Yeah, well, it's really in line with what Cisco's been doing for the past 2 years. During the pandemic, they really focused on, that hybrid work and, making sure that, hybrid work is going to be the next normal. So I think this is totally in line with what they've been doing, and it makes good sense to kind of start things off that way.
No, sounds good. Well, why don't we go to the next clip, and this will be no surprise what they chose to focus on.
At WebEx, we've focused on delivering great experiences through AI. And AI is such a buzzword right now. What you might not know is that WebEx has decades of experience leveraging intelligence with audio, with video, natural language understanding, and analytics to create unrivaled experiences.
So David, I think no surprise that like all the other keynotes, I'm pretty sure there was many mentions of AI. What did you think about, kind of how Cisco tied in the kind of the behind the scenes AI, which has been around for a long time, in laying a foundation with what was more, the focus this year, which was more the generative AI. Did that connection work for you?
Yeah, I thought it was a good approach because I was looking for differentiators because everyone has AI, everyone has these meeting summary demo, and I shouldn't say it in that tone of voice like, oh, whatever. These amazing, demos. So if everyone has it, why do I need to listen to you talk about it for 20 minutes? And what Cisco is saying is, we've been doing this for a long time. The difference now is the ChatGPT language stuff makes it so much more accessible, so much more human, so much more easy to work with that it seems new. Meeting summaries aren't new. They seem new when we see them done in this manner. So I think this is a smart way to say, we're not just, everyone's doing it, we're doing it too. No, Cisco has something different here.
And I think what Cisco's also doing that's very impressive is they're using the technology that they might have developed for, let's say, WebEx, and then using it across the board. So they have like noise cancellation, and we'll see that in a demo, but they have noise cancellation, for meetings, and they've had that for a while. Now they're bringing it to calling and to other things. So like a contact center agent can use that same noise cancellation technology. So I think what Cisco is doing is different. And I like the way that they're leveraging, this basic technology that they have in AI across the board.
Yeah, I think I too thought this was a good tie-in because like everybody can, call an API for ChatGPT and then claim to add it into their product. So like Cisco is saying, hey, we've got a rich history of, this AI and this AI research. And now, it was more behind the scenes. And now to your point, David, it's more new because it's more in front of the users. But I thought that was interesting. I think let's go to the next clip because Cisco and Snorre wasn't all rah-rah on AI. I think he had a little bit of a cautionary tale.
Because rushed AI makes for bad experiences. It must be applied correctly.
Yeah, I thought this to me was interesting because I think, for the most part, there was like, overhype during all of the Enterprise Connect keynotes and, and at the booths and what have you. And so, here was a much more, I guess, methodical or a call to be methodical and pragmatic in terms of, using AI.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of bad uses of AI in the next couple of years, and we're going to have to be really, really careful. So being cautionary is very, very important. And I think Snorre is going to appreciate the fact that he did include this, when there's a lot of looking back on, what everybody was being promised.
Right.
It feels dangerous, but it's not sure what's dangerous and what's helpful. And I keep seeing us take a few steps forwards and saying, no, wait, we shouldn't be doing that yet. There was something I read about ChatGPT now has a restriction on asking for legal advice. You used to be able to say, write me a brief. You're my lawyer. Write me a brief. And now you say it, and now you do it, and it says, I'm a language model. I am not a lawyer. I can't help you with that. Here's some resources you can go to get legal help.
Oh,
it can help me with that. It's choosing not to because someone got scared, and I'm seeing a lot of that. So, we're rushing so fast, and then we're like, no, don't rush so fast, and I don't know what's right, but it's a little scary.
So this next clip, I thought this was okay. So for me, this was like a brilliant marketing move. Like, so Microsoft, a week ahead of Enterprise Connect, about a week ahead, introduces Copilot, their AI that they're going to, sprinkle around the Microsoft Office suite. And there was very positive reaction, like really, even a lot of people like outside of the tech space, like I had people that I didn't even, think followed this saying, hey, when can I get Copilot? I want Copilot. So with this next clip, I feel like Cisco is like, okay, you got Copilot. Let me come up with something better. So let's play the clip and then we'll talk about what you thought of it.
But first, let's take a look at the art of the possible.
I really need more focus time.
I can help with that. You're currently double booked for the next 30 minutes. I'll send a message to the strategy team and push back the session.
Yeah, that would be helpful. Can you send me the notes for the new project?
I've created a summary here from your last 3 meetings on the subject.
Wonderful. We're further along than I thought.
By the way, your meeting with the CEO is in an hour.
Can you clear my schedule until then?
I've just sent your lead designer a summary along with action items. They'll take care of your next call.
I've got a lot to cover. Are you ready?
I'm always ready.
So you had to see, and hopefully you could see that said like whatever it said, WebEx AI or AI assistant, or so that whole, that wasn't a real person. So I feel like Copilot is just text now. I mean, granted, Copilot is, in preview, and I don't think anything close to that wonderful video assistant is in preview. But once again, it is a great vision in art of the possible, as Snorre said. Blair, what did you think of that? I want one.
Yeah, I definitely want one. I think everybody could use one. The problem is it's going to get people's expectations high for what the current technology can currently do. Right. And, we're not anywhere near what it showed in that video. So, it was enjoyable, it was entertaining, and it got you thinking. but I think a lot of people in the audience want to know, what's Cisco doing here and now also. And, that's very, I thought that video was a little too futuristic for, what's real.
And David, your thoughts?
I definitely want one. And yeah, it definitely feels like a bit of a tease because, well, I hate to say, it's years out because everything is moving so fast. It might be months out, but it's not here. It's not here. But I so want it. And it goes into what we were talking about before. A lot of it's not new. I'm able to say today, hey, virtual assistant, create a new item in my to-do list, and it can do that. But it doesn't have the context of everything else to say, oh, that new item, actually, you just got an email saying it's not due for another few months. You need to put it to the bottom of your to-do list. It's not human. It doesn't understand everything. It's right now we have robots, and that it does not feel like a robot.
Well, and I think we talked about this in the React video for the Microsoft keynote. One of the things that presupposes is that the assistant, the AI has access to all your information. So that means that in this case, access to your calendar and your documents and all your emails and all those other things, which I think the next segment's going to talk about the WebEx suite, but certainly WebEx, even with its suite, doesn't necessarily have, the email component. So it's a question on, well, how does an AI assistant that only knows half of kind of your communications, how does it actually synthesize and summarize? But let's roll the next segment because it's not the art of the future. I think it's the what's here and now.
Last year, we announced our WebEx suite, which is purpose-built to support all kinds of collaboration workloads. You get callings, meetings, and messaging, but also whiteboarding, events, and webinars, and not at least async video in one single suite. And we've seen tremendous growth in this part of our portfolio.
Real quick, if we put little circles around all of those icons and put a Z at the front and an M at the end.
Where have I seen this before?
Is that rude? I'm sorry, but
No, this is, you can react. That's a natural reaction. I've actually been impressed by, the WebEx suite has evolved, and over the past 2 years, like it really, has come to its own. Like some of the components, like the insights, they're nicely done. That vidcast, which lets you edit video. I mean, I'm not a video whiz like David, and so it lets you edit the transcript of the video, and then it drops the frames of the video that correspond with that. So for somebody like me, that's a piece of it. And then they've got the polling and Slido. And so, and they're being incredibly aggressive with the pricing of the suite. So it doesn't surprise me that the growth that they mentioned, that they're achieving it, because I think that they're virtually losing no deals. Like if you've got WebEx, they're moving you to the WebEx suite and they're not losing deals based on price, right? So,
I mean, so many customers have been looking for platforms and for suites and bundles. So Cisco is just, providing a lot of their capabilities in the way that customers want to consume it. And they've been doing a good job of putting everything together. And of course, me going on my contact center focus or whatever, that is one thing that's missing from here that I expect to see eventually. But yeah, customers have been asking for suites, and Cisco's been delivering it, and they actually did it before the Z was in front of a lot of these things.
I think I don't think they get enough credit. I think maybe still perception from the old days. WebEx used to be not a loved product, and it's changed so many times over the years. And in the recent years, I mean, really, the last couple of years, yeah, they've added a ton of features, and not just catch-up features, but oh, that's an interesting new one. And I don't think they're getting credit, as much credit as they should for it yet, by press, analysts, and by the market.
There you go. Well, I think they're going to talk about their video intelligence in the next clip.
Across our portfolio, we're using our secret sauce video intelligence to deliver better experiences. Those are experiences like face recognition, where you put names to faces, even in large meeting rooms. But it's also gesture recognition, when you can express yourself. You could show empathy in a meeting without raising your voice. And even vidcast, which is part of the WebEx suite. It gives users the ability to film and asynchronous edit videos and transcripts.
So I think all this is here today. I think this is interesting. I think some of this I know facial recognition is both good and bad. Like, people have issues with that, but it's certainly nice if there's a meeting and, like in a larger room, and if all the people are automatically labeled because you don't know who they are, like, that's great, although there's some privacy concerns around that. But the gesture, I think there's another clip around gestures increasing empathy. I'm a little dubious on this, but I don't know what you both of you think.
Yeah, so I want to have face recognition for real life. So when I run into people and I don't remember their names, I just want to have it, pop up what their name is. So I love the face recognition. And again, this isn't something new for Cisco. They've been doing it for a while. For meetings, they identify who the speakers are and who the participants are. So again, this is something Cisco's had for a while, and they're just continuing on. And yeah, the gesture recognition, which I guess we'll talk about in a minute. I'm glad you said that, Kevin, because I thought, am I just being old-fashioned? Because I don't really get it.
Well, maybe let's run the next clip, and then David, we're going to ask you to weigh in and do some gestures.
You can celebrate in meetings. You can participate without saying a word. And in a lot of the meetings I'm in, this is happening. And it actually increased the involvement and the empathy in those meetings. It's incredible.
All right.
I mean, I like the concept, like empathy and, employee experience. I'm all down for that. I'm just not certain that these gestures are going to increase empathy in meetings. But I don't know. David, what's your thought?
Just, we're so flexible and powerful with video. We can do anything now. And there's a list of features we could do. And this is stuff that I've been doing in OBS. I don't have it set up here, but I could do, if I put my hand up here, confetti will come up. The camera knows where my hand is. So this has been done on Twitch. The kids have been doing this, Snapchat, for years and years and years. And hey, we can put it in Zoom. We can put it in WebEx. We can put it in Teams. We could, but should we? The name thing, yes, I'm with Blair. I have a good memory with some things, but I'm so bad with name. And it feels rude. It feels like you don't like the person thinks you're not going to. You don't like me enough to remember. No, I love you. I just bad at names. But so that thing is not just, we could do it. It's yes, that's helpful. The gesture thing, I have mixed feelings. I love the confetti. I mean, that is emotive. But in Zoom, when I put my hand up, it puts my hand up, and I wasn't putting my hand up to raise my hand. I'm putting my hand up because I talk like this. I'm getting the wrong gesture sometimes. So, and I don't need it to put my hand up if you could see me putting my hand up, because I'm here. That's my hand. I don't need a virtual hand. The confetti I can't do. That's something. I don't know. I love this kind of stuff in general, but I don't know if I can make a case for it in business meetings.
Well, I got to tell you, so Brent Kelly and we did that comparison session between WebEx and Zoom and Ring Central and Microsoft Teams. And I think it was in Zoom. So here you have like two, technology analysts. We're doing this in Zoom. And the weird thing is, to your point, David, so that when you just raise your hand, like instantly, it doesn't register. So for example, to do like a thumbs up, you have to hold it for about 3 or 4 seconds. But let me tell you, so first of all, it took Brent and I a little bit of time to realize that. Second of all, you feel entirely stupid on video going like this, right? So it's the most natural thing that, it's like, it becomes unnatural. So, but let's go to the next clip, because here's something.
So I think we all give it a thumbs down right now.
Yeah, but you got to hold your thumb like this for a long time. So go to the next clip, because I like this next one.
And then we're expanding our video intelligence to yet another use case. So how many times Have you been in a scenario, in a meeting from home, doorbell rings, kids needs help, or life just happens?
So that I like. I think that that's a brilliant, like that's simple and brilliant. Some of the headsets would do that when you take it off. It would do different things, but I don't know. Does this get a thumbs up?
Yes.
I have a thumb sideways on this because I see. I think this is one of those things that, oh, you could do it. It's kind of cool that you can do it. We should do something. If we know that they're not there, do something when they're not there. But how does blurring help me? It doesn't tell me that you're not there. I see you're not there. And you don't want me to see what's behind you. Once you sit down, I'm going to see what's behind you. This doesn't, what does this do? You know what would be cool is if, remember in the 90s, we watched TV and it would see, we'll be right back, and it'd go dun, 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 and be right back would come across the screen. You know, that would be something, but this, I like it, but I don't know why I like it. It doesn't solve any problem.
Okay. See, maybe it would, for you to like it, maybe your AI assistant, that looks exactly like you, would have to come in. And then when you come back, people are going to go, wow, David, you said some brilliant things in the last 5 minutes.
And it could give me a summary.
And then it could give you a summary, and then you wouldn't have to show up at all.
This does look cool, though. I mean, it is fun, and I like fun things. So
yeah, that more than raised the roof. I'm on board with this, but I get it. You gave it thumb sideways. So now I think Cisco's going to talk about their meeting summaries, because everybody has to have meeting summaries. So let's take a look at what they say.
Meeting summaries. Even after the meeting, WebEx uses AI to make the experience better. How many of you have missed a meeting and you sit there with that 60 or 90-minute recording? It takes a lot of time to get through it. You need to concentrate. It's hard work. Or you multitasked in a meeting and missed something important. Then it's good to know that WebEx uses AI to generate meeting recaps, tasks, and chapters. That way, you can catch up on the content quickly and truly understand what happened in that meeting.
So David, compared to so everybody is talking about meeting summaries. How did this strike you?
I mean, they have to. How could they not? How could they not? I'm not seeing anything. Well, not to be fair, in that clip, I don't see anything that differentiates, but they have to have it, and it's great that they have it.
And Blair?
Yeah, it's kind of becoming table stakes for meetings right now. But to the point I made earlier, I do like the fact that Cisco's taking this technology and applying it, in other areas. So they're going to, let contact center agents use it to summarize customer interactions. Right. So it's that whole idea of using the technology in different ways to help different types of workers.
Which is a great segue to the next clip, because this is a fantastic example of them doing exactly what you just said.
Our intelligent noise removal is now also available for PSTN calling. And while on the subject,
oops. And while on the subject, but I think this clip was an example of, they're taking noise filtering, which has been around, and everybody has noise cancellation, but they've applied it to PSTN calling, and then, and based on their architecture, then that's also rolled out to agents, whether they're, and then to the PSTN leg. So when somebody calls in from a noisy environment, or if the agent happens to be on a PSTN line, it's just applied across their kind of entire ecosystem. That's kind of one of the examples you were talking about, right, Blair?
Yeah, exactly. And Cisco's one of the few companies that really can do this, because they do have so many different aspects to the company. So they're applying this to calling, meetings, webinars, events, and also contact center to some degree. So I think the fact that they can use this for different things is actually, I skipped ahead. I was looking at audio intelligence, but yeah, I do like the fact that Cisco can, take their technology and apply it, kind of across the board. And a lot of organizations can't do that the way Cisco can.
I thought this was when I first, usually when I see PSTN, I'm like, boring. I'm out. I don't care about this stuff. It's just I like video, but actually this is super important and super sexy. I have a video right now, an unboxing of the Poly Voyager Free. You know, they're pretty hot. There's a lot of buzz about them on Twitter. And the video, it's on YouTube. I'm getting a lot of comments, and at least half the comments are, how well does it do? Does the microphone, which I'm not using now because I have this, but how well does the microphone do on regular calls? Because I always say, I don't care. I'm using it on Zoom or Teams or Cisco. Zoom, Teams, Cisco. They have amazing background reduction. I can have a cattle go through here and you won't hear it. So I don't care if this thing has noise reduction in the microphone. And I get a lot of comments saying I'm using it for regular phone calls. So the fact that they're putting this into the regular phone calls means, it's less stress on the hardware.
Yeah, and when we were at the analyst kind of session out at Cisco, they had somebody go out into the parking lot, and you could see them, right? And I think they set off their car alarm and made a call in on their cell phone, and you could see how, wow, it made a huge difference when they turned that on. So if you think about, sometimes you just pick up your mobile phone and make a call, and it could be in a noisy environment, and the fact that the person on the receiving end, or if you're that remote person in the meeting and everybody else is, with good headsets and microphones, they still will be able to hear you, and you won't be overwhelming them with your background noise. So I think that that's pretty cool that they're delivering that. So, okay, so let's move on to Cisco. We talked about the suite, and they talked about growth. And with some of this PSTN filtering, that's driving some numbers for them.
We have reached 10 million cloud users on WebEx calling.
So that seems like a good milestone that they, and some impressive growth. I know when Brent and I were doing the numbers, it was substantially less than 10 million because we were, comparing them, and we had been working on the session for months. So that was at the end of 2022. So this, is definitely a strong milestone for Cisco.
Where does that put them?
Yeah, and they've been adding a lot of features. And go ahead, David.
I was going to ask if you all know this stuff better than me. Where does it put them compared to RingCentral and Zoom and Microsoft?
Well, so Microsoft had the highest at 15 million, and then it was Cisco, and then I'll have to look up the chart because Brent Kelly from Omdia, like that was his really area of expertise. But so it was a substantial increase from when they last reported, right?
Yeah, and they've been doing a good job of adding lots of features and capabilities and functionality to the calling. And Larissa Horton, has just done an amazing job. And they really have been doing a good job of enhancing it. So again, it's all part of the suite. So it's, the fact that customers can get, all these capabilities, in one suite bundle, whatever, is very helpful too.
I was just stalling to bring up the chart. And so ahead of that, it was, you had like Microsoft. So this is at the end of 2022. You had Microsoft at 15. You had Cisco WebEx at around 9. RingCentral just below 6. Zoom like a little bit, just 6 and change as well, right? So, but it's a more complicated because, Cisco has like 28 million Broadwork seats as well. And then Microsoft, through their Metaswitch, they have 21 million hosted seats that are white labeled on Metaswitch. So, overall, if you add in all of Cisco, including their on-prem, they have the most, right, deployed. So it's like anybody can have a higher number depending on, kind of what they want to count. But, right now, there's, and I think this is the interesting thing for the cloud providers like Cisco. Brent Kelly said that there's 447 million on-prem seats that still could be migrated, right? So the total addressable market is huge.
Wow.
And, you know, whether you're Microsoft, Cisco, RingCentral, or Zoom, you're only touching a small percentage of that right now. So I've moved away from my notes. So let's play the next clip. And I have no idea what it is because I was looking that up.
Let's talk about the second part of our portfolio and how we are reimagining workspaces with Cisco devices. Our team has been busy, and they have purpose-built a whole portfolio of devices: headsets, phones, desk devices, room bars, Board Pro. So whether you're a frontline worker managing an urgent call from a phone, or you're a knowledge worker working from home, co-creating and multitasking from the Cisco Desk Mini, we are supporting you, and we are supporting any way our customers want to work with these gorgeous devices.
So Cisco's always built wonderful devices, and Snorre heads up the devices. So, I mean, was it a surprise to you, Blair, that, you know, he led the keynote? Because, you know, at some point, sometimes Cisco gets criticized for being too device, you know, focused.
Well, I know some people were out of town at another event that they had to go to. So, but Snorri's always done a good job. And I was going to say earlier, I was impressed that Eric pronounced his name properly, because one time we were on a panel together and I had to introduce him and I was stressing over how to pronounce his last name. So kudos to Eric. But yeah, Snorri's, you know, he always does a great job presenting. So, you know, I was glad to see him on stage. But yeah, devices, you know, have been important to Cisco for quite a while, and they're impressive. I mean, they do a really nice job with them. The quality is always good, and they do look good also. You know, I've gone to a couple things, you know, at Cisco headquarters or other places where, you know, they've had all the devices on display, and they really are impressive. And so, yeah, you can't say anything negative about their devices. I don't know price-wise how they compare. David, you'd be better at that, but I think this is definitely a strong suit for them.
Yeah, I would have to look up, but I think basically they're a ballpark in line with the market. I don't think there's a Cisco premium. I don't think, you know, oh, if you want Cisco, you're going to pay 20% more than if you buy a competitor. I think they're in line, and yeah, it's not just that you can't say anything bad. It's just you could never have ever said anything bad. They've always made some really cool stuff. Even before they got Tamberg, although everything got a lot better after they got Tamberg. That was some brain power they brought into the video department. But yeah, the devices are, which makes sense of having Snorre out there, because not only is he well liked and he's, you know, good at this, but devices are hey, lead with your strength.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and after the analyst briefing back in the fall in California wrapped up, Snorre, my flight was later, and he and I sat down, and so, you know, I got to play with some of the devices, and he's so passionate about the devices, and I think that comes through on the keynote. And like, I love technology, but I love people that are passionate about the technology for how it can help customers. And I think in that last little clip, like that for me totally came through. But let's go to the next clip and see what we're talking about.
Ever feel like you have the worst seat in the meeting? I feel like no one can really hear or see me. Can we fix that? That's better.
I would love to have a camera right there. Nope. Let's put it up there.
And can we get intelligent audio so that everyone in the room can be heard?
What about framing, so these side conversations don't get lost in the noise?
Agreed. Amazing.
And maybe it could all be directed like a movie in real time so that everyone on the call feels like they're in the room and part of the conversation.
It would be amazing if I could stand and move around the room while I talk. I could go through our latest pitch or market forecast, and nothing would be missed, not even if I spin dramatically and look right there.
Okay, I thought that was pretty cool, and I would like all my meetings to be filled with beautiful people that have very interesting accents. But I don't know, but I'm not sure, like that multi-camera AI, I think we saw that in some other keynotes. That was a really well done. You know, David, like how real is that? Because it's super impressive looking.
Well, yeah, I definitely need that backing track in all my meetings. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, it made me feel so. How much money for this? Yeah, sure, I'll buy all of it. It definitely makes it cool. It felt like we're in a movie, and we do need a solution to the problem of meeting rooms. I mean, you know, we have a large suite of experts, but today it's only the three of us, and we have all this extra space because sometimes everyone shows up. We need to have all the seats. So, and how does this look in a meeting? This looks terrible. If we had one camera back here, you know, we can't even barely see each other. So, you know, I'm manually doing it, but we can't have a manual human producer in every meeting room. And we need a producer director in every meeting room. So we need something like this. Now, how many meeting rooms can we afford multiple cameras as opposed to digitally doing it? And this seemed to be a mix of both. And also how much of that demo was demo and how much was happening in real time. I don't know, but this is a topic we need to pay attention to. It is a real problem. It's not just like I was talking before. Hey, this is cool stuff we could do. No, please help us here. We have a problem.
I do wonder if this is going to turn into like a telepresence kind of thing where, you know, it's a great idea, but maybe it's priced a little too high and, you know, only certain types of companies can really have the money and the resources and the staff to really make it possible. And then it's going to just, you know, there's going to be other cheaper technologies that comes along that makes everyone think, wow, why did I invest in that? But I don't know. But I think your point is a good one, because it's like if everybody needs to see everybody, one of the things you can do is just sit at your laptop, right? And so I could see it being put in the boardroom, like the primary big boardroom. But you know, the video vendors talk about, I don't know how many rooms don't even have any audio or video hardware, and I think they salivate thinking they're going to add those to all those little huddle rooms. And I'm thinking, or people are just going to bring in their laptop, because the advantage of having a laptop like we're doing now is, you saw it, David, you asked me a question and I could pull up notes on that to answer your question. So I'm smarter than I really am. And when I'm sitting in that boardroom with that multi-camera, I don't have the ability to kind of, you know, do stuff on the side. So I love that. But cinematic AI right now, we're using the manual David AI, but maybe we'll eventually get the upgrade. So I do like the audio aspect of it, though. You know, as a soft talker, I like that it'll boost my audio. So parts of it I do think are very practical.
So let's roll the next clip, because I think
an interesting. Really quick, I agree that it's telepresence. But I think it's a good thing, because with telepresence, okay, we didn't all have those $250,000 rooms, but the technology trickled down, and the $5,000 cameras got better, and the $10,000 cameras got better. So we might not have a room that's outfitted with all that stuff, but there might come a camera out of it that does a little switching or a little digital zooming or something. So
that's a great point.
It's okay if that's showpiece stuff, if we are going to get some of it for the regular folks down the line.
Good point.
But we also know that the future of work is multi-platform. We went out and we asked 3,800 of our largest customers, how many meeting platforms do you use? And the response was that 85% of our customers use 2 or more meeting platforms. 2 or more.
Not surprising.
Thoughts?
I think we all agree on that. It's a multi-vendor world.
I was talking to an integrator, another podcast that I produced like this, and one of the guys in the chairs next to me is a guy on the ground building the rooms, and you know, I mentioned how if you have what do you do if you have a customer that wants to make a Zoom call and Microsoft Team call sometimes? He goes, we install 2 video bars. We buy a Zoom video bar and a Teams video bar, and we install 2. I'm like, how often do you have this conversation with customers? About 5 times a day. Whoa. So this problem that he's addressing here, it's real.
So one of the things, and one of the reasons Brent Kelly and I, we called our session, that comparison session, we called it Living in the Multicast. So the idea being that, people are using multiple UC as a service, CC as a service, CPaaS as a service, and, multiple. I think that working through that for several months, one of the things that this 85% doesn't accurately reflect is, for most organizations, that's true, but there is a primary and a secondary services. And so I think sometimes the vendors like to believe it's like, equal. So I use Zoom a third of the time and WebEx a third of the time and Teams a third of the time. But that's not how it seems to be in the real world. In the real world, it's like I use whatever 90% of the time. And then as an exception, I use something else. So, I think sometimes the big players are likely to get bigger, and that's going to squeeze the small players, even though still 85% will continue to say that they use, 2 or more platforms. But talking about kind of 2 big players, let's play the next clip.
In the Microsoft keynote, you saw Ilya and I speak remotely about the partnership, but I didn't get to shake his hand. So I would like to welcome my good friend Ilya Buchstein to the stage.
Hello again, Snorre.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
So, why don't we show some of this incredible partnership in action? So, should we give the team in Oslo a call again, and I'll have you do the honors?
It would be my privilege to use this beautiful Teams room on this beautiful Cisco device. Let's go ahead and join this Teams meeting. Wow. Hey, Anne-Marie, I'm really sorry. I can't hear you. Could you turn on the audio AI, please?
Yeah, you're catching us during a coffee break. Turn on noise removal. I think you should hear my voice better. Is it better now?
Wow, that is a lot better. That is amazing.
So you couldn't, in this clip, you couldn't appreciate it. In the real thing, there was like a coffee grinder going in the background, and I think maybe some of the noise filtering filtered out some of the noise at the start, but definitely made a huge difference. So there, is Cisco's devices running, native Microsoft Teams room. But the interesting thing is and Ilya's pretty strong on this, is like that's when it's running in that mode, it looks like a Microsoft Teams room. Now you can also join natively a WebEx call, and then it's full fidelity WebEx, but it comes back to its resting point of looking like a Microsoft Teams room. And that's different than when you have this device also can run Room OS. In that mode, you get different, you have a Zoom and a Google Meet and Microsoft Teams and WebEx, of course. But in that mode, when you join, for example, a Teams meeting, you're joining using direct guest join, and it's not a full fidelity Microsoft Teams room. So it's interesting to me that Cisco is okay having the at rest for these beautiful devices and customer rooms look effectively look identical to a Microsoft Teams room. So I don't know, but it was great to see them partnering, because certainly customers are asking for this.
Yeah, just seeing those two on stage together is good news for customers. I mean, just right away, okay, this is going to be good. And normally I would give a hard time about the audio canceling thing, but it is okay. They have to do something cool and sexy, and that is a very effective demo, even if we've seen it a few times before. But Microsoft Teams on a Cisco device, it doesn't sound like that big of a deal, but it is. When I talk to people in the real world about this, they have 2 things to say. The first thing is, oh, that's going to solve so many problems. And the second thing is, when Zoom? When do we get Zoom 2? So this is again, I keep going back to the thing of sometimes technology for technology, sometimes solving problems. This is 100% solving problems.
And I don't think my thing is, I don't think you're not going to see Zoom, because there's a lot of things behind the scenes that, having talked to both of these gentlemen, in terms of the manageability of devices, like you start deploying hundreds of these devices, and this device will register to the Teams Admin Center, and also now the Teams Pro portal that you can use to manage devices, and it will also register to Cisco Control Hub. So making all of that back-end work so that IT pros can actually manage, hundreds of these devices that are deployed in a large organization, that took significant engineering that both Cisco and Microsoft had to be willing to do. And I think that's unlikely in this, I don't know, certainly from the Microsoft side, it's very unlikely that that'll be extended to other vendors, is my understanding. So we'll have to wait and see.
A lot of people are going to be unhappy with that.
I know. There you go. Let's go to the next clip. Then.
Thank you so much. Cisco and Microsoft in each other's keynote. Who would have thought, right? Thank you so much again, Snorre.
Thank you very much, Ilya.
Thank you.
So I think I just put that in because that was pretty impressive to see them, kind of cross-pollinate each other's keynote. I think now we're going to move. They moved on to talking about the contact center. So Blair, obviously something, a place you spend a lot of time analyzing. Let's move on to this clip.
So let's introduce John or Luke to the stage.
Thank you, Snorre. It's so exciting to see the developments in collaboration in devices and how they deliver on these unrivaled experiences. But now, we're going to talk about how we're extending many of those same innovations in the WebEx platform to help maximize your customer experience. Because the reality is, customer experience has gotten that much harder. Customer expectations are up, and budgets have been shrinking.
So I think here, and I didn't pick all of it, but to your point, Blair, I guess you can comment on this initial, kind of proposition that he made here, but, they went on to really say how some of the technologies that were highlighted earlier are brought into the contact center. How do you see Cisco doing in terms of bringing, the WebEx contact center and adding features and functionality to that?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier, taking like noise cancellation from the WebEx platform, taking some of the AI capabilities from, the WebEx suite and platform and being able to apply that to the contact center capabilities. So it really does give them an advantage because they don't have to start from scratch the way some of the contact center vendors do. So, to do summarizations of customer interactions. A lot of the contact center vendors are doing that. Cisco already has the technology to do that. They just, can leverage what they've got and apply it to the contact center. So I think that does give them, a nice little advantage.
And David, why don't we roll the next clip? Because I think they're going to talk about, obviously multi-channel, which is key.
Did you know we already power over 25 billion digital interactions a year? That is a true testament to how digital is already a pervasive means of customer engagement. But it's not just about the channels. You need to be able to build the right experience for your customers when they reach out. You need to orchestrate, and you need to automate that journey. That's where our Flow Builder comes in. This helps you to create those personalized experiences with low or no code. And you can even leverage things like self-service bots in that sequence of activities to help the customer realize their desired outcome.
So here, Blair, to your point, there's a lot of low-code bot builders from a lot of, probably hundreds of different vendors. They keep popping up. But, Cisco went out and made an acquisition a while back, and then they've built on, a number of acquisitions and brought this all together. And so, this must give them, potential competitive advantage. Would you agree with that?
Well, as you said, a lot of the other contact center vendors, they do have low code, no code. So that is kind of becoming, I wouldn't say standard, but it's a lot of the vendors are offering that now. It's just so important because things change so quickly, and you don't want to have to always involve your IT people, and so if you're introducing a new product that you need to add, that the contact center agents are going to be getting calls about, you need to be able to change things very quickly and easily, and not necessarily have your developers or your IT people involved in it. So I wouldn't say it's table stakes, but it's definitely something that Cisco and a lot of others are
Right.
doing, and Cisco's doing it well.
Okay. Yeah, and I don't think we have the clip, but then of course they use the generative AI where you don't even have to drag and drop the flow. You just write something and they're saying, well, then it'll build it for you. So, but let's go to the next clip there, David.
Now, there's other times when what you want is to really make sure you understand your customer, their history, what's happened before. Coming soon to help with this are conversation summaries. We leverage large language models to extract those key takeaways from chats and calls for a very simple but powerful summarization of the customer's conversation history.
So I think this is exactly to your point, Blair, where they're leveraging what we saw a little bit earlier in a meeting, and now they're bringing the same kind of capabilities and technologies into the contact center.
Yeah, one thing that's going to be really important that organizations are going to have to recognize is, as automated as this is going to be, we still need human in the loop. And that's a term I keep hearing, human in the loop, because you still need someone to look it over and make sure that it's accurate, and that it doesn't just throw in some of this ChatGPT hallucination stuff or whatever. You just have to really make sure that a human is involved and making sure everything is accurate and correct, because otherwise it's just going to be a mess.
Well, and I think the next clip shows us the human in the loop. And it was funny because I think this was the one thing that maybe doesn't use AI. I'm not sure, but let's roll that, David.
This is coming soon with WebEx's proprietary agent answers. This provides real-time AI assistance so your agents get to that happy customer so much faster.
But that is, you can, like, that was clearly AI assisted. That is, to your point, the human in the loop, right?
Well, again, what's happening there is the AI is providing responses or information for the agent to provide to the customer. But the agent does have to use their common sense and their knowledge and their expertise to make sure that the information is correct. So that's very important to have the agent involved. Well, the agent is going to be involved because they're going to be providing the information, but they also need a mechanism to say, yes, this is correct, no, this isn't, so that the system can continually learn. So if it says, this was the wrong information, then the system is going to learn from that. So that's going to be very important going forward also.
So, and I think it's funny because that clip was like, human in the loop. And then this next clip is human out of the loop. But let's roll it. I feel like this is the far future, but let's take a look.
It's about a new experience where there's always a voice to say, I'm here. For everyone, everywhere, at any time. Welcome to the future with generative AI and the Self-Learning Contact Center.
So I don't know if you saw, but that was like, that wasn't a person, that was like AI agent, right? So that was back to the personal assistant, but now it's human out of the loop. So I don't know. What do you think about that, David?
Well, as much as I really do love AI. I really fascinated by ChatGPT, and I'm a fan of it, but I've been burned so many times by contact center that to get me out of the habit of just going human, agent, human, it's going to take me, well, I was going to say years, but things are moving so fast. Maybe a year from now, I'm going to say, okay, it's gotten good enough that it got me the refund I wanted. It got me the help I wanted. I'm happy. But right now, this whole time, I've just been thinking, yeah, that stuff looks cool, but agent, give me an agent. I'm just not ready. I've been burned too many times.
An AI agent. So there you go. So I don't know, Blair, last thoughts on that?
Yeah, for a long time, we've been talking about, using AI to augment and not replace the agent. And it's just so important because the AI cannot do some of the things that human agents can do, and vice versa probably. But there are situations where, people want to talk to a human, and there are times where they don't. If it's about sensitive medical stuff, maybe they don't want to talk to a human. So you need to really have the right solution for the right type of situation. So when a customer wants to talk to a human, you need to make that available. And if they want to talk to a virtual agent or a bot or whatever, you have to make that available because different situations are going to have different needs. So it's just really important to make sure it's what's best for the customer.
Yeah, I think that that's a great place to kind of close our commentary, the right technology for the right situation. And then David, let's roll this. This was how Cisco wrapped up their keynote.
We've shared some incredible innovations today by leveraging the power of AI across our portfolio. WebEx delivers experiences for collaborations that are unrivaled, workspaces and customer experiences alike. We'd love to show you even more of what WebEx can do. So come and see us at the WebEx booth. We'll show you how, with the power of AI, how WebEx is driving incredible experiences for the next normal of hybrid work.
So I know I said we'd stop our commentary, but any final, so in its entirety, to you, Blair, how did Cisco do with their Enterprise Connect 2023 keynote?
I think they did a really good job. I guess because I knew about some of these things ahead of time, it didn't wow me as much as, like Microsoft Copilot just came out right before EC. So that was something, really new, really exciting. Whereas, some of this Cisco stuff I knew about. I mean, not all of it, certainly. And I was impressed with, like meeting zones, which we didn't really talk about, and some of the other things. And we didn't talk about like WebEx for automobiles, which I'm kind of torn about. So they definitely, had some nice innovations and some, some really cool stuff. It just didn't have the wow factor the way Copilot did for me.
Okay. And David, using gestures and words, what did you think of the Cisco keynote overall?
No, I think a great job. I think they've been exceeding expectations. I mean the hardware we have high expectations for, but WebEx has more than caught up. I think as software, and the presentation itself was great. I thought Copilot was pretty wow factor, but they had a lot of cool stuff in the Cisco. There was some buzz going around that some of the little AI demo things they showed were pretty cool. So I thought they did pretty good.
And I do have to give them kudos for including Jono and having a whole section on contact center, because that's impressive for Cisco, and it's showing how important customer experience and contact center is for Cisco. So the fact that they had that on stage and they highlighted Jono what the team is doing, I thought that was very impressive and really shows the direction that Cisco is going also.
Yeah, and for me, I thought that there was the right blend of some vision, so some things that were the art of the possible, some demos that were in the here and now, and and then some kind of real devices on the stage as well. So not just kind of slideware. So I really thought that they did a good balance between those, and I found it engaging and entertaining. And with that, I'm going to wrap up this BC Strategies React video. Thank you to Blair Pleasant, David Maldow, and all the other BC Strategies experts. You can find us at bcstrategies.com or us individually via LinkedIn. Thank you very much.